This is Kendra.
And this is Brianna. Welcome to Camp Comparisons.
Where she's in one camp and I'm in the other.
I saw a post that they started the casting for season 2.
Wow.
And it specifically said, like, even Tyson. Like,
because everybody's like,
who's going to be Tyson? Yeah, I guess everyone's very concerned about that. But apparently it was closed casting, which I know what open casting is. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing
I think
it's the
open
opposite.
casting means like anybody can
Send in their audition.
Or closed, they pick, they like look and request, like, will you come in for?
Yeah.
I'm just totally guessing that from what I understand about,
Yeah, I know what open casting is, but I didn't know, like, exactly what made something closed casting. Like, if it's like that, or if it's just, like, they're looking at a smaller group of people, like, people that have already had roles in things.
That's interesting.
Or, I don't know what it means, but anyways.
It's closed casting.
So
all those people
sad
that were...
that,
yeah.
Because they probably wanted to audition for different parts.
A lot of people in the Percy Jackson Facebook groups will have asked things like, hey, do you guys know how we can audition for this or that? So there's like people really interested. I think it'd be so cute to have like a fan play a part, like the girl who played Luna in Harry Potter. She was just a fan.
That was basically Percy. I mean, Walker.
Well, no, but Walker.
You're saying he was already an actor.
An actor. I mean, like,
you're right.
Wasn't
Luna,
she just?
She wasn't an actor.
What's her name? Ivana Lynch.
Yeah.
She wasn't an actor.
Yeah.
At the time. So anyway, so that would have been kind of cute, but closed casting sounds like that's not happening.
Definitely not that kind of thing, no.
That also reminded me, when you said that I saw a post in the Instagram or somewhere, I think it was on Twitter, I think, that they had they were talking about something on Facebook, some kind of Percy thing, and then Leia, I could be wrong with this, one of the cast that we already know tagged a bunch of our cast we wrote, plus another girl. Like, oh, hey, look. And that girl is someone who looks like she could be Thalia.
Really?
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
We should just...
my notes. I wrote it down somewhere exactly.
We should just make it all known that I will pronounce it Thalia, Thalia, Talia, and Talia.
Thalia.
Okay.
Thalia.
So someone's like, looks like Leia might have leaked out who's playing Thalia. But I don't know. But at the same time, that does seem kind of, because I had like Charlie who plays Luke. I had the, Walker who plays Percy, Arian who plays Grover, the girl who plays Clarice, and then this other girl who was not in the show yet. So everybody's like, I think you might have. So I don't know. We'll have to see if that's true or not.
Or it's just like these people and my best friend.
Maybe maybe they're all hanging out with each other now. It sounds like it sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's possible that person got leaked. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I'm excited for them to announce the casting.
I am so excited.
They'll definitely do that. Like, I mean, they'll do it before the show comes out. Like, we got to know
we
the
did it
casting
for
ahead
season
of time.
1 with all the pictures and stuff. Yeah, it will be exciting when we get that. It will make us feel closer. I'm just really hoping the projection on it not being out until fall of next year, I'm hoping that is completely wrong. Because I'm not willing yet to accept that date. So hopefully it's not.
That is pretty far away.
Yeah, we'll see.
Reminder about our spoilers. We spoil this whole book and this whole season many times, every single episode. But if we discuss main plot points or main character reveals in the next 5 books, we will give a proper spoiler warning.
All right, so here is our recap. Last week we went over the beginning of episode 6. We went over the dream, their cute little iris call with the prism and not water, by the way, Kendra. And we went over arriving in Las Vegas and coming to the Lotus Casino. Then at that point, we end when they have split up looking for Hermes.
Yeah.
So now we're going to start basically at that point.
Yeah.
And before we get into it, I'm just going to introduce to where we are in the book. In the book, if you remember from the last episode, we had talked about how they went up to a hotel room and took a shower and all that kind of stuff. But now they've come down from the hotel room. I mean, it's kind of hard to line up where they are in the book to the TV show when this part is so different. But at least it's still the Lotus Casino Hotel. But
yeah,
they decide to go back down, and there's just a paragraph here I wanted to read. This is what Percy does which sounds so much more fun than wandering through a hotel casino looking for Hermes. He says, I bungee jumped the lobby 5 or 6 times, did the water slide, snowboarded the artificial ski slope, played virtual reality laser tag, and FBI sharpshooter. I saw Grover a few times. He really liked the reverse hunter thing where the deer go out and shoot the rednecks. I saw Annabeth playing trivia games and other Brainiac stuff. They had this huge 3D sim game where you build your own city and you could actually see the holographic buildings rise up on the display board. I didn't think much of it, but Annabeth loved it. Anyways, that was just a cute little paragraph that tells you what they were doing in the book.
He hasn't seemed to have forgotten them.
Oh yeah.
Although he is playing his games and stuff, it's not like he's like, oh, who's this person? You know what I mean?
No,
when he sees them around, he remembers who they are and why they would like those types of games.
Yeah, he knows them. He's just forgetting the importance of what they're doing there.
Well, they also really don't know about this time thing, so they probably think genuinely at this point before they start getting too sucked in.
They think an hour and a half has gone by or something.
Yeah, and they're like, I mean, okay, yes, we do have this quest we're supposed to be doing, but we still have 3 days or however many days they have at this point. I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe. See, at one point in time, he tries to pull, and I was going to get that later when they were leaving, but he tries to pull Annabeth out of there.
Yes, and that's when it gets hard. Once you think about leaving,
harder.
It's hard. But at this point, it's not like he's forgetting about the quest or doesn't know that the quest exists, or at least he doesn't realize that.
Yeah, he at least knows his friends. We know that for sure, but we haven't. There's no evidence of him forgetting anything yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And he definitely remembers his friends until the very end. That's never a thing that happens in the book where he's
where they're forgetting each other.
Wait, who's Grover? Who am I here with? Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Exactly.
I didn't realize how much I had to say about the casino scene and how much just didn't really make sense until I started rewatching and making notes. So the first thing that happens in this first scene that we're at, after they split up, Percy and Annabeth start talking about, what could you say to Hermes that Grover couldn't say, right? And she explains, I was with Luke for a lot more time, and I got to meet his mom. And then, Percy's like, well, what's wrong with his mom or whatever? And she's like, well, she's a seer, which is a human who can see through the mist. And I'm like, that's not what a seer is.
No.
First of all, she's not a seer. That's not even, that term isn't even accurate for what she is. There's no seers in Percy Jackson.
Yeah, it's true.
You're an oracle, or you're a human who can see through the mist. Spoiler warning, skip ahead 10.5 minutes to avoid spoilers about book 5 and a little bit of spoilers from Heroes of Olympus. There's only one oracle at a time. And there's many humans who can see through the mist, though.
Yeah, so she's a human who can see through the mist, and so is Percy Jackson's mom.
And so is...
But they needed a human who could see through the mist, and so is Rachel Elizabeth Dare. Yeah. They needed one who can see through the mist to be the oracle. Isn't that the idea?
Yes. It's a sign that maybe you could take on the power of the oracle because you are, more... I mean, of course, how would you even be able to get to Camp Half-Blood or do any of this if you were just a human who is fooled by the mist? Obviously, you'd have to first be aware that this world exists to be then chosen as the person who's going to channel the spirit of the oracle. You're not even the oracle. You're just a vessel that channels the spirit.
Which you understand better once you read the Trials of Apollo, actually. But you don't actually really get that. See, here's the deal is we don't get this explanation in the books until book 5? Was it book 5?
It's pretty late on.
Yeah, so it is I don't remember though when they talk about the whole thing. So they show that scene in the book. So I don't know how they show the scene. But he goes back to the scene where Apollo brings, what's her name, May? No.
Yeah.
May. There, and she's like, I can do this, honey. Hold the baby Luke, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So is that not because she could already see the future? Or just because she...
I think what was happening to her is the same thing that was happening...
I meant Hermes, not Apollo. Sorry, go ahead.
What was happening to Luke's mom is, I think, what was happening to Rachel before Rachel became the Oracle. Where she was seeing, fragmented dreams, and she was, painting pictures of things she had never seen before that were, baby Luke and stuff like this. So why couldn't
they be seers? Why can't that be called a seer? Because they were starting to see the future. Both of them were.
I guess, but the problem I have isn't even quite with the word seer.
Okay.
It's that she said a seer is a human who can see through the
Right.
mist. But that's not accurate because, once again, Sally is a human who can see through the mist. And even Rachel, before she started having these dreams, was just a human that could see through the mist.
Yeah, so the word seer is just wrongly used.
Yeah, it's not because she was a human that could see through mist that she was seeing these things. She just, I guess every once in a while, someone just gets, like, whatever, chosen to take on this role, but because of the curse that was placed on the Oracle, it wasn't able to happen until Hades took away that curse, which he finally did after the last battle.
Yeah.
Because I guess he came to terms with the Nico thing.
Yeah, they don't really explain why Hades was like, oh, okay, fine. And then they don't even explain how they know that before they're like, let's just try this nice young woman who's not even an 18-year-old. She's still a minor.
I know.
Let's just try her.
Sure. I think that and I know May was also sure.
Yeah, it's weird.
But Rachel was absolutely sure that she was the one meant to do this. And
they let her. Well, see, Chiron let her, and I feel like, I don't know, it's interesting. I also feel like Hermes, when he brought May, should have known that I feel like he's a god. He should have known that Hades is...
He did. I mean, he definitely tried to stop her.
He was a god.
Well, yeah.
He brought her to camp. Okay, fine. So that was his first mistake, obviously. Yeah, no, that's what interesting. I didn't even catch that was like a totally wrong word to use. That's weird. What else did she say?
She just said that, that her dreams just got, or her visions got really scary. And that, I don't know if she mentioned that it, messed up her mind. I don't think she mentioned that. She just said that it was really scary.
Her going and trying to even be in the Oracle, or...
No, she just said that the visions got really scary, and it was, scary for Luke, and it was, hard to live with that. I guess we know that, when she failed to get the Oracle to take hold, that it shattered her mind, and that she was still seeing these visions, but she couldn't control it anymore, and she was, consistently unaware of what was real and what wasn't. And unfortunately, the thing that she saw was her son's fate.
Right.
I hate... This is also... I'm going to get into this later, too, but we can also just bring it up now.
Yeah.
Because Hermes is basically saying later on in this show that, I couldn't interfere. I'm not really... I couldn't interfere. It was just going to make things worse. And... whatever, stuff like that. And we know from the books that he also knew Luke's fate. But they always, act like they knew he was going to be the hero in the end. And so because of that, they didn't try to stop him from,
killing
being the bad guy.
People.
This is, how it comes across in the book, is that they were like, well, we knew,
he was going to die also.
He was going to have a hero's fate or whatever. But, that first he had to, go through, hard times. It's what? I'm sorry.
There's so many whats when it comes to Luke.
That doesn't make any sense. It's not like it was either Luke or someone else was going to be possessed by Kronos, and at least if it was Luke, we know in the end that he's going to sacrifice himself to save everyone.
Yeah.
There was no one else. No one else was turning towards this bad. It was just him. Everyone else seemed to be just, happily at camp, not wanting to destroy the world. If he hadn't connected up with Kronos because of his whole past and stuff,
upset with the gods,
it could have been another 100 or 1,000 years before someone else came along.
Yeah.
How is this the right option? Whatever. It's all just nonsense.
I don't know, but there's always this
idea. Just killed
him. Let's put it down in writing that Brianna thinks Hermes should have just killed his son, gotten rid of that. We wouldn't have had this whole story, Brianna.
There's always stuff happening. It just didn't have to be this thing. This thing
it's sucked. So weird.
Percy could have just gone on fun quests.
It's a whole weird story. Luke's story is weird too because the fact that we even call him the hero at the end, oh, okay, so he finally decides he doesn't want to be evil anymore and lets himself die, and that makes him a hero. I have problems with that.
And yes, and to go even further into the spoiler realm, Hazel. Okay, when Hazel shows up in the underworld, they have this whole debate about whether she should be considered a hero because she was the one helping Gia rise, right? With her power.
In her first life.
First life. But then in the end, she ends up sacrificing her and her mom's life to like, slow it down or stop it. And so
I feel like that's different. She was like a slave. She was like literally under threat. Luke is like, hey, I'm going to go out.
I agree that it's different, but they still debate it.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing, is that it's so different.
It's so different.
She was forced as like a way younger child than Luke was into this like servitude. She didn't even know what she was doing.
No.
And once she understood it, she stopped it and sacrificed herself and all this stuff. And they still just put her in like the medium in like the fields of Asphodel. She doesn't even go to like the hero's place that you go to the underworld.
Oh yeah, don't they say something about Luke when Luke dies?
He's like, they're like, oh, you're totally gonna go to, I forget
what's it called? Elysium? No.
Whatever. It's
like the place where heroes go.
Oh, I'm gonna try for like 3 times. Because if you die hero 3 times in a row, then you go to like the extra
that's
place.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And they were like, oh, you can totally do it. And I'm like, he killed so many people.
Yes.
He did one good thing. You really think he's
gonna orchestrated get down there? The whole thing
knowingly and willingly? You really think he's gonna get down there? They're gonna be like, you know what? You good. You get to go to the good place.
All those Luke supporters have like unfollowed us, left our podcast.
They should. It's ridiculous.
No, it's okay if you're a Luke supporter. We understand people have opinions.
It's ridiculous. Even Selena was more of a hero because at least she was being blackmailed into being a spy.
No. I don't disagree. I don't agree with Selena. I think she also was a complete
she was being blackmailed into it.
Yeah, but she agreed in the beginning
to
spy for her camp. Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, like, fine. I also don't hate Selena.
No, I don't hate her, but if between the two of them, who has a better chance of going to the
hero
special
thingy
place?
Is Selena.
It's
not
Selena.
Luke. Luke just like barely erased an inch of his 20-foot line.
He should just get like a light punishment. Like if anything, not the Fields of Asphodel, but just like it kind of sucks, but not like torture for like the rest of
all you can eat is spaghetti every day.
Yeah, like just something like this kind of sucks.
I don't know why for some reason that was my indication of a light torture.
You can say like Kronos was manipulating his feelings and stuff, but he tried to do that to Percy, and Percy was like, no.
I mean, you can say that, but so many people's
I know.
Misdeeds that someone manipulated them or someone did that and stuff like that, and it's so hard. There's so many like angles you can look at this.
Still their choices, and other people go through the same situations and make different choices.
Yeah, I would like to point out in the book at the end of book 1, he literally stuck a what's it called, scorpion on Percy's leg and said, "Sorry, dude, that's gonna kill you in a second. I just want to let you know how it's gonna go." He didn't even offer him a chance to go with him like in the show. The show definitely makes Luke look a little more appealing, and that goes back to this point finally, which we're getting back to the actual episode, is the reason they tell us in this episode or in this season about Luke is they are trying to get us more sympathetic with Luke. We are supposed to like Luke more in this show because you don't hear about this stuff with Luke until book 5. So by then you are like super mad at him generally.
Yeah.
Speaking.
And then
you're like, oh yeah, okay, fine. He had a rough life. Okay, fine. You feel a little sympathy for him so that when he dies at the end doing what he does, you're like, okay, that's fine. Now here's a question for you, Brianna. How much of this episode podcast that we're doing right now is going to be all spoiler alert?
I'll solid 15 minutes.
She's like, please just skip to the end. This whole thing
please just skip this whole episode if you have not read all 5
Anyways, yeah, no, because it is definitely, they are definitely pulling from later material here and trying to get you to be sympathetic with Luke. So that's an interesting point.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Luke sucks. So I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But he sucks.
Yes. Okay, good. So then what happens? So then are they done talking about that part? And then we go to Grover.
To Grover. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he sees the satyr who has a name. Augustus?
And
he's
Cornelia?
like, oh.
I can't remember.
Cornelia.
I didn't write it down.
I like that. I should have called him Cornelia. It does have the same vibe. And he's like, oh, my Uncle Ferdinand really liked you. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
and
he said that he talked about him a lot, like that Augustus, that's the name.
Yeah, it was like
his inspiration, or one of his big inspirations when it came to his searcher's quest.
Yeah, and this is interesting. So Augustus is obviously a searcher.
Yeah.
Or is that what you call him?
Mm-hmm. And
he's gone to look for Pan, and he's unfortunately found the Lotus Casino, and who knows how long he's been there, right?
Yeah.
But he hasn't totally forgotten who Pan is.
No.
So I just think, I think the passion is so strong. But yet he still is completely wrapped up in this Lotus Casino magic. Right. But he's like, I found him.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, I found Pan. So he knows.
He still knows something. That.
Yeah.
And it is really interesting that they don't really explain that video game situation where, because even Grover, when he comes out of it, he's like, I felt like I was really just about to find
I know,
Pan.
it leaves you, like,
So
wondering.
I wonder if, like, just how there's something for everyone in this casino, if that, like, I just wonder if that virtual reality setup over there, can you play any game over there? Or is that whole setup just a trap for, like, for satyrs?
Well,
like,
or just
setup...
if any satyr pulls in, if any satyr gets pulled in and they happen to go to the virtual reality, they it's like programmed for satyrs' brains to show them look like they're getting Pan.
Clearly it's like really realistic. But it's interesting because we know that satyrs are drawn by nature magic to find Pan. It's how they all end up at, like in the second book, we learned that they all, like so many of them end up
because of nature magic.
Yeah, end up at the, whatever, in a giant trap, basically, because there's strong nature magic that's pulling them that way.
So you're wondering if the Lotus Casino has some kind of nature magic?
So, but also, like, Medusa doesn't have nature magic. Like, clearly, Ferdinand just kind of stumbled across it. So maybe Augustus was just looking for a shelter, and that's how he ended up in the casino. However, I just find it really interesting. I wonder if they somehow do have something in that area that makes, like, that tricks their senses fully into believing that there's a chance that Pan is there, and if they do have, I don't know, some kind of nature magic in that section of the hotel to help. I would have
this little headcanon maybe of like both Medusa and the Lotus Casino and other traps that might be around in North America, they might be just set up in such a way that's like always on, they're on the path that demigods and satyrs would take, and like it just happened. These are places that can trap both demigods and satyrs.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder how many demigods are in Lotus Casino.
Yeah, I don't know. He definitely...
Because we know there's a couple demigods in there.
Right.
We'll get to that later, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how... Like, I saw how it trapped them in the book, and that made, like, perfect sense. And so I wonder if it's just the same thing.
Yeah. I just don't know if Las Vegas is on, like... like, if there's almost like a kind of like a energy line that these guys travel on,
Well, Las Vegas would make sense just because of how the power of the gods work and how they move, like they said, like with the power of the West.
Yeah.
There's definitely just like, they're stationed in New York because that's definitely a very like powerful area. You can always feel the energy of New York. People always talk about that.
Right.
And the history and everything there. And I feel like Vegas has very similar...
Yeah, like the main places like Chicago and Los Angeles and Vegas, whatever, those, they have a certain energy. And
I mean, the amount of times that people have probably prayed in Vegas, probably for more money or whatever.
Prayed at the tables.
But like, I'm just saying, like that kind of energy there is just, I feel like probably really strong. So it would make sense that it would be like a hub of that kind of stuff. That's and again, idea. Just like when they find out that the underworld's in Los Angeles, they're like, oh, of course it is. Because maybe that's the area that feels like it has that kind of magic attached to it.
That's true.
Just kidding. But it's definitely like makes sense. So I could believe that people end up, lots of demigods and quests and stuff can pass through that area. Stuff.
Yeah. I don't know how many satyrs are out there. We just know that every one that was sent out to find Pan hadn't returned. Yeah. And Grover was trying to get the license to do so. So that's all we really know about that. It's so
interesting. When Percy finds out about that, he's just like blown away by the fact that like every single satyr ever has gone missing.
That was sent out, a seeker.
They all failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That got a searcher's license. They all failed. And somehow Grover is like confident that like they all have to be confident they're going to be the one that does it.
Yeah, it's kind of scary for Percy.
Yeah,
especially
like
anyways.
Okay, he's definitely just like, that's incredible to just have that. I don't know, just like to still believe that.
Yeah, that ambition to do it. Yeah,
even after 0 people have, like no one has done it.
It's like the first person wanting to climb Mount Everest for the first person who actually made it to Mount Everest. All the people before that
who had died.
That person still went, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, we go back to Percy and Annabeth.
Yeah, so
and they're talking about dreams, right?
Now Percy is explaining his dream that he had at the beginning of this episode, which I was, for a quick recap, was about he saw his headmaster who was Kronos, but he thinks is Hades, talking to the lightning thief, which is Luke, but they think it's Grace. So, and he explains,
basically he doesn't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, and he explains how his dreams are have, always been weird, and then they got scary, but this one was extra weird because it felt like he was in someone else's dream. Like he had shown up and was eavesdropping on someone else's dream instead of this character showing up in his dream like that had been happening recently.
Right, and he's telling Annabeth about that.
Yeah, and she's, like, listening, but he's like, that's not even the point. That's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is, when I was listening to them, it sounded like this was just the first part of their plan.
Like, Zeus and Poseidon fighting is just the beginning of it.
Yeah, and he just was like, what do you think that means? She's like, I don't know.
I know, I love
like,
that.
What do you mean you don't know?
He's like, if you don't know, what are we going to do? Or what does he say?
Yeah, well, she's like, I don't know everything, or there's some things I don't know. And he's like, well, yeah, but if you don't know, like, how do I even have a chance of understanding, like, what's happening?
Which is kind of cute, because he's letting her know that, like, I completely know that you are super smart, and I depend on you.
Yeah.
It's cute.
And then she's like, listen, we just have to focus on, like, just finishing this quest. And I don't know if she says this, but, like, at that point, then we can go to Chiron.
Yeah.
And talk to him about this. I don't think she mentions that, but I know that's what they would do.
Yeah, it was a kind of cute, little intense kind of conversation, But then I think it switches back up to Grover, right?
Yeah.
And he's actually starting to look a little confused now, Grover. You see in his face a little bit of, like, he's not sure. Like, he's going to look for Pan, but I think you can see a little bit, he's, like, thinking, am I supposed to be doing something? Like, I don't know. If you look at his facial expressions, he's starting to look confused.
But you think it's because he says, like, well, I don't know, I can't really help you find Pan because I don't have my searcher's license.
Yeah. That's right. And he's like, I won't tell if you don't tell. Yeah. That's right. I forgot. But then we have this moment where the guy hands him, like, says, want some? And he's like, no, you can't eat the lotus flowers. And the guy goes, it's nacho chips.
Yeah.
And then he gets really confused, saying, wait, if you're not eating flowers, then why are you forgetting things? We did talk about it. I was like, as I was talking this, I was like, wait, how did we cover this already? We talked about it.
Because we talked about it at the very beginning when they walked in and like, don't eat anything. And like, why does it say don't eat anything? But then when he finds out he's eating chips instead of flowers, he's like...
So we covered this already.
Yeah, and then you were saying, like, I guess he was just so confused at this point already that he didn't realize it. Because, like, it ends up being pumped through the air, but then it can't be in a nacho chip. Like, that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. So whatever. And it's not like on the menu it's going to say lotus flowers with cheese, lotus flowers with salt. It's like, it's very possible those nacho chips are full of lotus flowers. We don't know.
Or they are, all the food is normal and it really is only in the air. That's also possible. We don't know anymore. But I did find it interesting that they were like, don't eat anything. And then he was like, oh, nacho chips are safe though. Yeah. I was like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
But then he does, like, right after that, he's like, I gotta go. Wait, and then you realize
he's like, wasn't I supposed to be doing something? And he's forgotten now. And then that's when the guy's like, you're helping me. And he's like, okay, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So now in this scene...
Spoiler warning, skip ahead 4 minutes to avoid spoilers about book 3.
We have possibly the sound of a couple names being yelled in the background that are names of people in later series. So, like, as a spoiler, apparently if you listen closely, you hear a little boy yelling out Bianca, Bianca. And I guess that doesn't have to be a spoiler if you don't know what that means, but it does connect to something later. So it's kind of a little Easter egg for people who love the books and are like, wait, were Nico and Bianca in the Lotus Casino while we were doing this, and yeah. So that was kind of cute.
Considering there were, like, very few kids the first time through that it wasn't even mentioned in passing that there was, like,
honestly,
this Italian kid.
I was just going to say, the book should have had, like, over there I could see this, Italian boy playing blah, blah. Like, he should have just mentioned, like, something. Yeah. Because there wasn't, it would have been, you could have totally missed it, but then later caught it through.
I just genuinely think he didn't think about it. That's 2 books ahead, and these aren't the Harry Potter books. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't think he was thinking about it that
like,
much?
Like, apparently, per J.K. Rowling, she always knew it was going to be 7 books, and she, like, knew she had an idea of the whole route it was going, where Rick literally wrote this for his son, and I don't even know if he knew it was going to be more than 1 book.
Yeah. Like, no, I think you're right. I don't think the first book was particularly written with that all in mind. Yeah.
So it definitely would have been, like, whatever. But it would have been fun if you just, like, went back. I mean, they always do, like, new editions of books. he, like, the next printing, he could have just been like, they're just writing, like,
just
one little
throwing
line.
a line in there,
Just for fun. It would have been fun to have it in there.
Yeah. Well, that's something that, even though I have listened to it a few times, I'm not entirely sure if someone's just making that up. It kind of sounds like it.
I can't hear it, but I can see, there's another part of the scene where you see, like, two kids, a girl and a boy, kind of walk by in the background, and those people, like, they look to me like they're Nico. Like, I could definitely see, they both have, like, dark hair. You can't really, they're kind of faced away from you, but you can tell they have, like, tanner skin.
If I tune my ears in just to the, I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to I tune my ears in, but if I concentrate at that certain time they say it happens and not listen to what they're saying, you can hear someone call a name out twice, and it's like, you know, like that. And it's like, you're like, okay, are they saying Bianca? Like, it could possibly be. So, who knows?
I definitely feel like if there is a name being called in the background like that,
it should be Bianca.
There's no reason why they wouldn't have put that in. Yeah. I just can't hear it, but I can see the people. There's a point, I forget which scene, but there's one scene where just in the crowd, there's people walking by.
And they're young kids?
Yeah, they're younger, and they look, I mean...
Well, they should be around Percy's...
14 and...
Percy's age and younger, because I think Bianca was his age. No?
Right. Yeah, so she would be 13... No, 14. Yeah, I was right. So it would be 14 and 12.
That's true, ages. Because they were stayed in there. They were all the same age. The whole
when
time.
They came out, they were 14.
They came out, they're 14 and 12. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Well, anyways,
or maybe they aged slowly, because weren't they in there for like? I mean, they were in there.
I thought they were in there for 6 months. I thought they were in there for 6 months, but it was like 60 years or something like that.
Yeah. So but no, if it was 6 months, they shouldn't have aged very much then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think they came in and came out the same age, basically, as much as possible. But I do remember in the interview, Aryan, I think it was with him, he said, or maybe it was Walker, I'm not sure, said something like, oh yeah, there is an Easter egg for book fans in the Lowe's Casino. So that's the only thing I can think of that would have been an Easter egg for book fans.
Yeah, and like I said, it could just be the people walking by.
It could be. So it's one of the two. So there you go.
Or it's both things.
Total supposition and not any kind of sureness from us.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we go into what I've labeled scene 6.
And that's when them finding
Hermes.
Right. He says this line. So when they find him, he's just like, hey, demigods, you want to play craps with me or whatever?
You're going too far already. Oh. Before that, he's telling a joke.
Oh, okay.
Before that, you hear him talking to the people around him at the table, and he's saying something about this kid in a bow, and then you look up, it's about a hat, right? So I looked that up, and then I also, another podcast mentioned it too, but it sounds like he is telling the story of Perseus, the actual Perseus story, where the mom and him are on a boat, like they're escaping from a boat or something like that.
Yeah, they do.
And the person in the hat in the sky is Hermes.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a story of Perseus, but he's like saying it like a joke.
Wow.
He's making it like a joke. But I thought that was funny that he's telling the Perseus story, and Percy's walking up.
I totally believe that is what's happening.
Yeah.
Although...
But it's so like nothing. Like you can't really tell from what he's saying. You have to like really, you have to know the myths or Google it,
Yeah.
Anyways, so now you can say what you wanted to say about Hermes.
I mean...
Well, at first...
Is he known for having a hat? I thought he just had flying shoes. Oh, I guess he has... Doesn't he?
He has that weird helmet with like the it's like gold or bronze or something with the wings.
Does he also have a flying helmet?
I think also it's different. Depends on who's riding the myth.
I remember that it's Perseus and Athena who help. Wait, what did I say? Did I say Perseus? It's Hermes and Athena who help.
I was like, wow.
Who help Perseus slay Medusa.
Oh.
And Hermes is definitely, he's the one who gives him a flying, I thought it was flying shoes, but maybe it was a flying helmet. He gives Perseus the ability to fly, and Athena gives him a shield, like a reflective shield.
Yeah. Yeah, see, his hat looks like the wings on the side of like a bronze sort of.
So maybe.
Whatever. Anyways, I'm just saying that's apparently the story he's telling, which I thought was completely appropriate. That they don't just have him telling some kind of random weird joke. Yeah. It's actually something, about his godliness, so.
It's pretty funny. So he greets the demigods, and then he's like, you want to play crabs with me or whatever? And they're like, we're good, we need your help. And
and doesn't he say I don't know, doesn't he almost not want to help him, and then they say, Luke, we're friends of Luke's? Okay.
Yeah, he's like, trust me, you don't really want my help or whatever. But he also says that, like, hey, I'm the god that exists outside of space and time. Like,
exists beyond space and time, yeah.
Right. And he's like, so obviously they gave me the job of the mailman or whatever, which was pretty funny. We know, like in the books, that he's, like, a little bit salty about being the mailman. He's always like, no one cares about what I have to say. They just care about well, he's the god of messengers.
Messengers, yeah.
They just care about, like, you know, what other people are, whatever. Like, the messages that I'm giving. They don't care about what I have to say myself.
Yeah. But I got a question for you. He's mentioning I exist beyond time and space because he's basically saying I know everything.
Is that what he's saying?
Well, yeah, because they're like, how do you...
literally manipulate space and time, though. Because
no, you're right, because that's what it shows. But no, what I'm saying is, like, they're like, we're here, and he's like, I know why you're here. You're here to something or other. He says whatever he says, and Percy's like, wow, good guess. Yeah. And then he looks at Percy and says, I exist beyond space and time, kid. So it's almost like he's saying, like, I know everything. But yet, if he knows everything, why didn't he know they were friends of Luke? Because then they're like, we're friends of Luke, and he's like, oh, you know, like, I missed that part.
I genuinely think that he did know that already. I mean...
And then when they said it, they just kind of put it in his face, and he's like, fine, whatever.
No, he's, like, playing into their hands. He's trying to waste their time so that they miss their deadline.
Oh, okay.
So he pretends like they said the thing that they think is going to be the thing that's going to get him to help, so that he has a chance to take them somewhere more private and then just slowly waste their time.
So you think that he's playing them?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, because then she steals his keys, right? Like, this whole thing was clearly... Set up by him.
Yeah.
So I think that they think saying the Luke thing is what worked. I think he was just waiting for them to say that.
Okay, fine.
But this whole existing out of space and time thing is so interesting, because that's not brought up in the books.
No. And what does it even mean?
And so we get the idea that he can manipulate space, right? So he can, like, transport them suddenly into that office, and then later on the car, like, suddenly arrives at the Santa Monica beach that they wanted to go to.
That's space.
And they're saying that that's his power. Even Ares says that that's his power. And then the casino, is that his casino? Is he that's what I'm thinking. And he's manipulating the time thing happen?
Yeah. And Ares knew that they were going to go in there and get lost in time, too. I'm just saying. I mean, he wasn't helping them at all. Yeah.
No, he sucks.
That's interesting. So they are definitely giving Hermes this casino basically as his thing that he
so that was my question. Does he, like, own this casino? Or does he just, like this casino because it is part of his power? Is he, like, a patron of this hotel?
I really think I think it's all, something like that.
Or, like, he lends part of his powers, like, or does he really own it? But, like, the Lotus, that whole idea of the Lotus thing isn't
from a story.
From him.
No.
It's its own story.
He could have named it after that story.
Or he's working together with whoever's power, or just the Lotuses themselves.
I mean, it's just the Lotuses, right? There's not, like, a certain bad guy that was behind the Lotuses on the island, right?
I guess it was just this very specific flower that was doing this. I don't know. It was supposed to be a trap.
It was supposed to be a trap.
I don't know if it was set up by someone specific, or if it was just, like, one of the
it's flowers, so is that Demeter? I don't know.
Or is Pan. Maybe it is Pan.
Oh!
Maybe it was
back
Pan's
to
trap.
Pan.
Because that would have been back in the day that Pan was still around.
Why is Pan trapping people? Maybe he's trying to get as many humans trapped in a casino so they're out of his wild.
So this was something... Oh my gosh.
I think we're so off.
No, we're not off.
Okay, we're not off. We're not.
We're totally on. Well, this was something that was brought up in News Olympian when
the podcast.
When Mike had Dr. Moya on, who is, like, a Greek mythologist person. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned that, like, we nowadays think of nature as, like, this beautiful, like, wonderful, nice thing. Right. But that back then, like, Pan was the god of the wild is his name because it was wild. He was someone to be feared.
Yeah, and Pan is short for, or panic comes from the word pan.
Right.
And people would get terrified by him.
Yeah. He could cause, like, mass panic. And that's because of, like, the fear of what? Like, being lost in the woods, being eaten alive by these animals. Like, when you are living back in the day and you have to go hunting to survive, like, the wild is not like a picnic. It's not like, let's go on a hike. It's like, it is a very crazy, unpredictable environment that is extremely dangerous.
So Pan is behind this Lotus Casino, just like Hermes.
Maybe, maybe he has...
He's trapping the humans.
Yeah, it's a little bit of Pan's, like energy, and then Hermes is like the rest of it.
Yes, I like it.
And that's why the satyrs are being drawn there.
Yes, which Pan is probably sad about at that point. But still, it doesn't matter. Yeah. No, you're right, because, like, I mean, Grover was just like, oh, these animals, I don't really care about the humans. I mean...
Right.
He doesn't care about the humans.
No. Anyways,
that's funny. I love that. Okay. Good. I'm glad we figured that all out. I was also going to say something that was going to only get our fans that like Court of Thorns and Roses. But I was going to say some of those, fairies also can make space fold like that and go to one place to the other.
I just felt like that the time thing is a power that Kronos has, but none of the Olympians have the power to manipulate time. Mm-hmm. However, I think that they can all manipulate space. Like, personally...
I know, they're gods.
they could all touch you and transport you somewhere else.
I would think so. Like, I would think what would be the point of being a god if you can't?
Or just snap your fingers and do it. Like, yeah. I think that's not... At least in the books, I always got the impression that that's not, like, a power that somebody has. It would just be something that they can do because they're gods.
There's a story... But now I don't remember. Was that Hermes? I think it's Apollo, but I'm not sure. But there's one of the short stories, so I don't know if you remember this, where Percy was supposed to take Annabeth on a date, but he was needed for some quest. And he's like, no, oh my gosh, I promised her a date. So they're like, I promise you'll get to have the date afterwards. And he does his quest, and he wants to take her. He decides at the end of the thing he wants to take her to, like, it's like Paris, like a restaurant in Paris. And it's just like, it's kind of a snap your fingers. They ended up in a restaurant in Paris and then came back. So whatever god that was, I'm not sure if that was Hermes. I feel like it was Apollo for some reason, but I'm not sure. Wouldn't that be funny if that was also Hermes? I kind of
remember, like, a tiny bit of this, but...
I only remember a tiny bit, too, because I just read it once. It's not one of those books I've reread.
Yeah.
But I was just... Whoever that god was, they were definitely...
able to do that.
Just like, okay, fine, here you are. You're in this fancy restaurant.
I definitely feel like they could all transport something. Like, that would be super simple for them, because they can just show up wherever they want, whenever they want.
I agree with you.
And so it shouldn't be that hard to transport other people or things.
But think about it. Like, Apollo had to, like, take them in his sun bus and whatever book that ways. He had... Oh, okay.
It was all of the hunters.
All the hunters. Okay. Fine. So that was a little too much work for him.
I guess.
What's the point of being a god? I don't know.
I mean, why couldn't Artemis just snap her fingers and brought all of the camp? But also, camp has, like, special protections around it, so maybe that's part of it, too.
Who knows? I think there's also a certain point where they're not really supposed to be doing that with the humans and the demigods and the whatever. Yeah. There's, like... Anyways.
It's just an interesting concept of him having the space and time power that is definitely never mentioned in the books. I don't know
I've never heard any of the myths.
It's not a myth thing, so whatever.
Okay, well, there you go. All that for one line.
Yep.
So he touches them, and they suddenly find themselves in a diner. Now, the first time that happened, I didn't notice. I call it a diner. They find themselves in, the restaurant. No. That's not a restaurant?
That's just his office. You can see all of his memorabilia on the shelf behind him. And then there's...
That's not his office. That is a table with two... Like, it's a booth seat. Like, and someone brings, like, a waitress. There's a waitress in a waitress uniform comes over and brings him a cup of coffee or something.
There's people who work at the casino, and I'm sure if this is his office, that they're on standby to bring him it was like a whiskey, like a little glass of whiskey.
I thought he, like, moved him to the back to some kind of, like, private booth in this, like, casino restaurant. That's what it looked like to me.
It just looked like his office.
No, that's not an office. There's no way that was not a table. That's a booth seat. You know what a booth seat, like, with booth seats on both sides. He didn't have his own chair. It was booth seats. No?
But there was no one else around.
A table. I mean, that was a table, but it wasn't a desk.
And there's not other tables nearby.
Okay, so I am going to say that I think you're wrong. I don't think that's his office, but we can sit here and argue about it since I can't go back and look at it right now. We'll have to just go on with it.
All right. This is Brianna coming to you a few days later. My mother and I reviewed the footage from the show, and I don't know what I was thinking, but it is clearly a restaurant type environment and not an office. So she was right. I was definitely wrong. Okay, so they're brought there. You were talking.
To this table.
Yeah.
And, like you pointed out already, there's all these shelves with all these, like, ancient Greek artifacts all over it. So that was kind of cool. If you, like, sit and... If you know anything about it, I know some people figured out what they were, but I don't know what they all were. But they were all, like... They actually had... Some of them had, like, actual, history behind them. So that was
they
kinda
definitely
neat.
looked cool. I didn't look very closely,
Yeah.
but I certainly noticed them. I liked the decoration.
Yeah. And then they're all talking about going to the underworld, and he says something like, you don't want me to, like, I've helped others before. Do you know what happens every single time? He doesn't say what happens. I mean, obviously,
I'm guessing they die.
They die or
Well,
they don't come back. But I'm like, what happens? Because there are at least 2 known times where people went into the underworld and recovered people.
No.
No?
It never happened. There's times that they tried. So Orpheus? No. Whatever. The guy who played the
that
music,
one didn't.
He did end up coming out, though. Like, he didn't die down there.
She died. The one he tried.
Yeah, he didn't rescue her, but he did end up, like, he was able to leave.
So they don't all die. Maybe they just don't come back successful. But even Percy's not going to come back successful in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, his mom didn't die, so it's also different.
It is different.
I think there's no stories where someone came back from the dead.
I read somewhere 2 other examples.
Except when they chained up death. That was the only time that people
No, I read it, like, as an example, like, these people, but I don't remember where it is, so I'm not going to be able to tell you. And I would have to actually look and be like, the 2 names that were given, like, what actually happened, because now I'm not sure, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. However, they're like, okay, clearly this strategy isn't getting us anywhere, let's bring up Luke again. And they're like, come on, don't you want to help us? Like, we're friends of Luke's or whatever. And he's like, and then he starts talking kind of about that and
about
how
parenting
hard
and...
Yeah, and how, like, he was told not to interfere. And, oh, that's right, because he says, that's what it is. He says, like, I know you, to Annabeth. And he's like, you were there the day that the bolt got stolen.
Oh, yeah.
You were there on Mount Olympus. That's when he brings up the bolt getting stolen.
Okay.
And I was wondering if he actually already knows it was Luke.
See, we don't know how much Hermes really knows because of May knowing his whole future. We don't really know what he knows.
I know. But
That's
like how much, like they do know that he's going to do bad things, but then be the hero. Like, we get the idea that that's what they do know.
Well, they know that's in the... Yeah, you're right. But see, we don't get Hermes at all in the first book. He meets Hermes in the second book when Hermes helps him go on that quest. And Hermes says, like, he's kind of hoping that Percy will turn around Luke. So even though in the book... he's still hoping that maybe something can change. Like, we know that...
No, but that's because he knows that Luke does end up changing. He just doesn't
know when or how. Yeah. So
and
he's kind of hoping Percy will manage to get
But that means he
through.
also knew that Luke was going to do this. Like, he knew that Luke was going to
still
do, like,
but maybe
be on
he
the
doesn't know
bad
the
side.
details. So he might be assuming that Luke is the one
so I'm
who
saying
stole.
I don't think he knows any details, but he knows that, like, my son's going to do some sort of bad things.
Yeah.
And then, in the end, like, whatever, be a good guy and then die. I mean, because they know they're sad about it. Like, they know
it's not going to be good.
Bad.
They know there's going to be a lot of misery.
Yeah. And so when this bolt gets stolen, I wonder if he suspects Luke just off the bat.
Yeah. And he seems like a little bit like he's beating himself up. Like, he does a good job in those facial expressions that he's just like, I don't know. He's also, in this case, he is beyond being a brat. So Hermes is actually a helpful god in the book series. Here he is sitting there wasting their time. Yeah. I'm so mad at that depiction of Hermes because that's not... I love Hermes so much in the book.
I mean, if you count later on, he does get mean.
He gets really mad at Annabeth that one scene, but that's literally just one scene.
Yeah.
He helps Hermes. He helps Percy several times. But he has this funny, like, not funny, but this, like, parenting line. He says, do you know what that's like? To be so close to someone you love, knowing neither of you has any choice but to keep hurting each other. And that sounds like not just, like... So he's talking about parenting, I think. But that sounds like a really abusive relationship.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree that that's ever a real situation.
No, because
real
love doesn't have to equal hurting anybody.
Yeah, if you actively know that you being around Luke was going to be hurting him, then you should have just left. And I know he's saying that that's really
But he
hard.
wasn't around Luke. Remember, that's the whole thing, is Luke who abandoned Luke all the time.
So is he referencing Luke's mom and Luke's
No, he says being so
relationship?
close to someone you love. Oh, maybe he is. I'm not sure. That's weird. Like,
Because
how is
then
he close to
references
Luke?
Percy and his mom.
Yeah.
Which is also not... I don't know.
Well, he says he touches his arm and he does that flashback, which we get the rest of the flashback
later.
In the next episode, maybe.
Yeah, but it's like not that bad. It's like, I don't know.
It was a very dramatic line. Yeah, it was a very dramatic.
And then he goes to do this to Annabeth, and she's like, I remember well. And you can imagine it's her and her stepmom, or her and her dad, or whatever happened in her childhood that made her leave so early.
Yeah.
Which I wish we did get a flash of, because that would have been cool. But I'm sure they weren't ready to cast yet.
Yeah, they already casted Sally. They could have already done it.
Although I guess that flash was just a car. Like, Percy's flash was just a car. So
it would have been cute to see a little young Annabeth.
Yeah.
Like a before 7 Annabeth.
Something.
Or even like hiding in the garbage in the alley. Remember?
Yeah.
That would have been a cute little scene to see. But it is an overly dramatic line that doesn't really make sense.
It just doesn't make sense. I feel like that's never... I just can't imagine that being a real situation where you love someone so much, but you're forced to be around them, but being around them is just hurting both of you. Like,
no, I can actually see that
a better
being
situation.
I can see that, but only in the case of like really obsessive abusive relationships.
But the thing is, okay, yes, you can say like you have to be around them because of the obsessiveness of it. So fine. Sure.
I mean, I can see that being in their head. I'm not saying that's okay and correct. Yeah.
But
no, this doesn't sound right.
That doesn't seem to apply to any of these situations. Percy's, Annabeth's, or Hermes and Luke's. I'm like...
No, the line could have been more like, how hard it is to watch your child who you love so much and knowing that they're going down the wrong path. Like, okay.
And then you can look at Percy, like, right, because Percy's mom couldn't tell him, like, or wasn't telling him the full truth. Well, couldn't, because it put him in too much danger to know he was a demigod that early on.
So she had to watch him.
Couldn't explain to him, like, this is why you're going through this hard time, instead of letting him believe that he was just, like, messed up and unfixable and all this stuff.
So you're saying that would have been more appropriate
that
for
makes
that
more
too.
sense. And then, again, even with, like, Annabeth and stuff, with her and her stepmom and the twins, you could see how it could be really hard. Because, of course, they still love Annabeth and want her to be whatever. Like, they don't hate her.
But monsters were coming to their house. But monsters
were coming. And it was a really tough situation. So, like, this makes more sense. But I don't know. This whole line in this flashback thing, I'm like, I feel like I'm misunderstanding what they're trying to say. Because this is not making sense.
No. And then Annabeth is also like, this doesn't make any sense. And she gets up and leaves. And you can see in the background behind Percy, if you're looking, that Annabeth grabs her hat.
Yeah.
Out of her pocket. And so that's when she puts it on and gets invisible, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll probably just wrap up the scene and end, right?
I kind of have a lot more to say about this.
About the Hermes scene?
No, actually I have one last thing to say.
Because we can also go past this.
Yeah, it's okay. I just have one last thing to say, which is that it was interesting when he revealed that Poseidon was the one that said to stay away. And he told him that it was really hard watching Percy struggle and knowing that he had to, like, that he couldn't really interfere in his life until the time was right, or whatever. Well, he didn't say till the time was right. He just said he couldn't interfere with his life, period. But then Percy's like, but he said he was going to meet me. Like, why would he do that if he thinks it's just going to make it worse? But I think the point is you can't interfere until the time is right. And the time is right when you know you're a demigod and you... Like, I feel like before he understood the situation, it would just put him in more danger to have his dad show up. Not just... for the monsters, but to draw the attention of the gods.
Yeah.
To him.
And that line does kind of go with that scene that you shall see as a flashback in another episode where Sally calls Poseidon, which we'll have a lot to say when we get to that. But, like in that conversation they have, it kind of is a similar vibe to this line.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Definitely.
But again, they also give some sort of parenting wisdom in that, where it's almost like it's hard to watch. It was kind of, I got the idea it was something about like not being able to do something, knowing that you have to let them find their own way type of thing.
Yeah, and he was like, it's hard being a god and feeling powerless.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard on the
gods.
But
as a parent, it's kind of the same way. It's hard feeling powerless when you know you have to just let your children walk their own course. Yeah,
especially if you think you have the solution. You're like, if you just did this, it would be fine.
But there's no way your kids are going to listen to you.
You're like, just going to have to hope they figure that out or find a different solution that works.
Yeah. And then they apparently talk a lot more. We get him saying it's too late, right? We get him saying, sorry, now it's too late. So we know that Hermes like literally just wasted their time completely. Which I don't get why. Why is Hermes wasting their time?
I don't know.
Like,
he doesn't want them to go to the underworld, I guess. But then he helps them with a car. I think he's conflicted. Maybe he's just really conflicted in this situation.
Yeah, so we know that there is other forces that are, like, pushing things, and maybe he also got a little affected by that. I don't really know. I don't understand why he would waste their time. I don't know that, but whatever. So that ends that scene, right? Are we done with all notes on that scene?
Yep.
I have a question, but it's really not the same kind of question I normally ask, but I've got this theorizing question. So how many couples do you think come into the casino as a couple and then forget they're married after, like, you know what I mean? Like, they forget, they go, like, off. He goes off to get drinks, gets distracted and is like, was I here with someone? And then doesn't remember his wife anymore. Like, how many of those couples are all just...
the longer you've been with someone, the longer it takes to forget, because, like, Percy and Grover, like, they've known each other for, 6 months? Like, maybe a year, depending on how long Grover was at Yancey.
Yeah, maybe a year. I would say he was there the whole year.
Yeah. But, Percy got kicked out before the year finished.
Sure. In the TV show he did.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just saying...
so you're saying they didn't know each other long enough, so maybe it would have been different?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I wonder if the longer you've known them, the longer it would take to forget them. Not that they can't forget them, but maybe if it's been, whatever. Maybe if you've been with someone for 5 years, you'd have to be gone from them for I don't know, a certain amount of time before you completely forgot that they existed.
Yeah, I was watching this show and seeing all these different people walking around, and I was like, are they even with the same people they showed up with? Are they just all forgetting everything? Yeah. Mixing couples at this point?
It is interesting to think about. I think it's definitely possible, but I don't know if it happened to every couple. I think some of them could have stayed together.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole time that they were there. Spoiler warning, skip ahead 20 seconds to avoid spoilers about book 3. Nico and Bianca didn't forget each other. Do you really think they were stuck by their side the whole time? No, but they've known each other for 12 years, right?
Yeah.
Because if Nico's 12, they've known each other for 12 whole years.
And she had that, I need to take care of my younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, good.
So I think it's definitely not impossible.
My next question that's also not really our normal questions is, how would you have included my favorite Martha and George into this movie? Because they did not include Martha and George, who are the two snakes that surround his caduceus or whatever. Is that what it's called, or is that the medical term one?
I don't know.
Well, whatever. It's his staff. Then he has these two snakes, and they're Martha and George, and they are some of the best conversationalists ever. Bring me back a rat, Percy. The best lines.
They're very, very good.
So we didn't get them in the TV show. Could they have put them in the TV show? Or does it just not fit this vibe?
Is this the only time this season that we saw Hermes? Or do we see him again? Oh, we saw him delivering the package.
Yeah, we saw him.
So he could have had talking to them in the elevator.
Yeah, he could have been. He could have had his staff, and he could have said, George, I can't believe what he sent to the gods. They are not going to be happy. And then Martha, and he would have said that to Martha. Yeah. No one would say that to George. George would have just said, can you get me a rat?
Yeah.
But Martha would have said something, and then
George would be what is in there? Rats?
Yeah. Is it rats? Anyways, so
I definitely think that would have been the time to do it.
You're right. They could have just done it sort of at the end, just right then. Or he could have been humming the New York City song, and they could have harmonized.
They were humming too, and you see their little snake heads bopping. Oh my gosh, that would have been great.
That would have been great. Gosh darn it, we're not going to have Martha and George
in all seasons. Yeah, you're
I'm sure.
Right.
It's not there now. They don't quite go that route of that humor, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry, those weren't really real questions, but they were just questions I had left over.
Okay, cool. Well, follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Threads at Camp Comparisons Podcast. We post things sometimes.
Some of our pictures and memes are cute.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Most of the time. They're mostly cute.
Okay.
And you can also interact with the post and ask your own questions, answer our questions, you know, correct us when we make clearly wrong mythological standpoints like I did that one episode.
Yep, for sure. You can correct us when we say things like we mentioned not knowing if there was a certain flavor of something. Espresso jelly beans, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then
we learned that there are
espresso jelly beans. So,
exactly.
Yeah, please.
If you love correct
us. Yeah, if you like to correct things.
We'd love
corrections.
I was going to say constructive criticism.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you have longer thoughts that aren't going to fit easily in a comment section or a DM, you can email us at campcomparisons@gmail.com.
Yeah. If it doesn't fit a DM or a PM or an IM.
Right.
Yes.
Iris messages.
Iris messages. Okay, everybody.
Just say Clearwater. Apparently if you can just say Flood Hill and find the person you're looking for, just say Clearwater. I'm sure we'll pop up.
Yeah, somewhere.
Probably us.
Maybe not us.
Maybe Homeless Santa. You know. Sorry.
Or, you know, maybe you could say, like, hey, you know, where Kendra lives, you know. That's not creepy. All right. Anyways, so don't forget also to tell your friends about us and, you know, spread the word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, until next time.
See you at camp.
Bye.